Hello and welcome to Media and Marketing podcast and episode 137. A few days ago, we talked about the 7 ways to avoid losing money on Google Ads. Before that, we talked about the 6 must-have tools for Google Ads. And, all of this is good, but, this is for not if we don't have content. So today, I have named this podcast essentially how to create the best content. How do you really do that, right? And I'm going to turn the mic around so you can actually hear me here. But yes, creating the best content. What is really the best, right? Best is relative. That's like saying I'm the best guy at X or a best woman at X. I mean, yeah, it's great to, feed your own psyche about how awesome you are. But the truth is, it's relative. Now, I'm using it here sort of on purpose, a little bit of tongue-in-cheek, because I didn't want to create a long title either. But the best is going to be relative because the best for you is different than somebody else. Meaning, if it's a brand, a large brand, that could simply be that the content is consumed and shared and gone viral at some level, right? For a smaller business, maybe a local shop, not so concerned about viral, more concerned about that content having leverage to drive traffic, to get folks to show up at the store or come drive by, curbside shopping, right? That's what we're dealing with a lot now in the COVID-19 days. But ultimately, each company will have to go through a process. And that process starts with research. And research, while simple at the outset, it means really you have to go deeper and use both your manual, approach here, manual work, going out and actually searching and manually digging around, but also using tools. There's free and paid tools out there. A lot of stuff you can, use to help you leverage this and to actually get a 360 view into your marketplace. That's what we're talking about. And I'm flipping over here to kind of a generalized content graphic here. And I was going to say, ultimately, once you get this view into your marketplace, you need to break these findings down by theme. What's your overall theme, right? What would be the topics? What are the subtopics? And this architecture, essentially, and we're talking more about sort of deploying this out to your website right now, is to use a top-down sort of you get this drill-down effect going, right? So when you deploy to your website, you want to make sure that you approach all this content with an SEO mindset, an architecture that supports this. And of course, you want to leverage paid and social for this. But at your core, your own media that sits on your corporate website, that needs to have an architecture that's meant for search engines as well as users. More and more, we find that readability, usability is a high value point in terms of not only search engines, but obviously your users as well. So with that said, let's dig in. And I'm going to go through this fairly quickly, and I'm going to link up these in the show notes here for you. But we're going to start with just generally Google Trends. If you're not familiar with Google Trends, fantastic tool to really be able to do exactly that. What are the trend data? What is the trend data by keyword? And you can use, a 12-month span. You can use worldwide. You can go local on this. Fantastic tool. One client we had recently, we determined that the traffic was going down. Why? Well, it turns out, and the client sort of knew this, but it was so obvious, they were too close to it, the seasonality of their searches, meaning the supply, demand, and supply curve, basically, there was not enough demand. It was going down, right? Likewise, back in March, April timeframe, the demand for sanitizers, hand sanitizer, it just went way up, cutting hair, a lot of things that really, toilet paper, right? Back in the days, just a few months ago. Well, Google Trends shows all these data patterns and, the trend lines. Very, very important for starting really at the top level of research here. Twitter Trends, Yahoo Trends, very similar here. Obviously a little different layout, different structure to both of those, Twitter and Yahoo, but definitely strong contenders in this top level research where you start digging for information, digging for essentially data points that you can capture and add to your Evernote or Excel sheet, Google Doc, whatever that you are compiling it into. And after you do this, again, you can pop around a little bit with these tools, obviously, but understanding a little bit more about perhaps what are these trends that are looking at doing in terms of content, you can pop over to BuzzSumo, BuzzSumo, where you see popular topics and trends. They actually have a lot more than just that inside their system. They have a free version and a paid version, and you can get a sense for what's popular. A very, very cool tool, very useful, as well as learning a little bit more about what are some of the questions and answers that people are asking. Obviously, you have the questions and answer engines like Quora, but AnswerThePublic.com, right? A very cool tool where you can start with a top level sort of a theme concept, right? The top level keyword, and then it's going to help you drill down. And what's cool is once you drill down into this sort of a wheel of Q&As, kind of a cool display they have there, well then once you click on it, it actually pops you over to Google, so you can see results both from organic and paid, right? So now you can start to compile more data points around what's actually being looked at, right? Now, before I continue here, I would just want to pause for a second. If you're not reviewing your analytics and your own data, then you're missing out. Obviously, you want to make sure that you understand what are the popular articles that are working for you right now. Some of those may actually be surprisingly active, but you haven't leveraged it for 2 years, right? So you need to enhance that content. Maybe there is some ways you can drive more links to it, etc. I'm sort of talking SEO nomenclature here, but that can lift that content up. The podcast title here is How to Create the Best Content. So I was not going to go too deep on SEO here, but you can't help it because search engines are critical to them finding your content. So again, just to reiterate, the best content is started by research and to understanding your market and get that 360 view, as I said. Okay, so let's continue here. This is a new tool, or fairly new tool, SparkToro, and the websites feature is really cool here. Where people are spending time, you can find definitely content collaboration opportunities, etc. here. And there's a free version. I think they provide a number of searches out the gate, kind of typical, and then there's a charge, right? Glimpse is another one. That's what consumers are interested in. Again, you're starting to really stack on these tools and your manual research now to get a nice feel for the market and understanding of where you could probably break through with some of these things. And so Glimpse will help you really further sort of validate that work. Interesting, fairly new. I think it's still in beta. Pinterest trends, and you can look at obviously the very visually enhanced world of Pinterest through fashion, food, drink, etc. But Pinterest trends is something you definitely want to consider adding to this research here and to this study that you're going through. And I was going to say you are probably already subscribed to some of the top sort of e-zines or e-zines in the marketplace. If you're in to search marketing, of course, you want to make sure you subscribe to Search Engine Land and Search Engine Journal, etc. Right? Well, doing this research and looking for trends, consumer interest is that Emarketer sits as pivotal to that research. So you want to make sure you set up a subscription there, and of course they have a lot of free information, but also paid. Similarweb, undercover, sort of recover, I guess, marketing strategies and content. Very, very cool. Free and paid also for Similarweb. And as you now have compiled this, and again, I'm not going to go through the process of actually doing this. Each one is different. You may also have a process already in place, but you're just looking for a little more data and some new opportunities and some new tools that perhaps you didn't know about. So I hope this has helped you so far. But, this is where you now can go deeper, much deeper, using keyword research, both also manually, but certainly diving into keyword research from both Google, free tools, the keyword planner, especially for paid search, but also as you go out to other tools like SEMrush, keywordtool.io, I'm not going to mention these. I just mentioned them, and I'm not going to go too deep on these right now. Just to suffice it to say that you need to make sure that once you have captured all this, you start mapping out the content pieces with relative keywords that you can source and enhance into your documents so that you make sure that people find it, right? That's going to be very key. But ultimately, I just want to summarize here. If you are trying to create the best content, and who isn't, right? I'm not talking about viral content here. I'm talking about, evergreen, solid content that really serves your audience first, search engines second, and really perhaps not as helpful out the gate if you're thinking about revenue. But I was going to say revenue last, right? The idea that you're creating a content piece and the thing at the forehead or the forefront in your thinking is, I just need to crank this out, get it out there, and get some traffic so I can sell some stuff. Yes, it's part of the mix of the customer journey. Where are you in that customer journey from top, middle to the bottom of funnel? However, the idea with this podcast today is to have you think about creating the best content that serves a expert, authoritative, and trusted source, which is you, and references to an audience that then really becomes frankly, addicted to your content because you're spending good time on the research, good time on creating it, and deploying it in the proper channels based on your marketplace, right? So, again, covered a lot here very quickly, but I wanted to make sure that I got this out to you because there are a lot of opportunities to create great content. And again, the best content in this conversation here today. And also, don't get discouraged by hey, there's so much content out there. Hey, I see my competitors are looking at this very aggressively, and I or our company have not perhaps pursued this as deeply as we should. Start with the first step and start digging in and find angles and edges to this that is different than your competition, and then use these tools and this approach. I think you'll really love it. And that's how you create the best content. All right. Well, if you have any more questions on this, of course, head on over to chaosmap.com. Basically, that's our agency here in Los Angeles. And, we're excited to help you. And if you have any questions, of course, you want to head on over there. But also, we do have a private client group. And this has just been announced because, well, today is the day. And you can just head on over to chaosmap.com/private. And we're opening this up right now. And happy to have you engage there and see if there's a way that we can help you. Either way, hey, have a great day, evening, or night. This is Jon. And hey, I hope to see you soon. And please share this as you see fit. Take good care. Bye.